Are you serious?
So this is How to Kill an Hour. I'm Marcus Bronzy. There's plenty of ways to kill some time out there. Today I'm joined by my co-host
Funk Butcher
and also
Matt Richardson.
Thank you very much for coming down on the show today, mate. Extremely funny guy.
Well, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah, like, you know, when I have to be.
I think in our short time together, I've found you very funny in person, because I didn't realise that some comedians are really funny on stage and not interested in being funny
they're awful.
off stage.
Oh my God. You know what? There's some comics, there's this weird brand of, this weird thing in comedy, I suppose, where there's comics you go, I can't wait to watch them on stage if you're doing a gig with them.
Yeah.
And there's other comics where you go, I can't wait to be in a dressing room with them. And there are some comics, do you know what I mean? And there's some comics where you go, oh, I can't wait to watch them, but it's going to be a horrible hour before the show sat with them in a dressing room. Because either they're not funny or, you know, they're an asshole or whatever. But it is strange. You think, because people meet you and you go, I'm a comic, and they go, oh, brilliant.
Do one. Do some.
Or they go, oh, hanging out with comedians must be brilliant. You're like, no, it's awful. They're terrible people. They're miserable. All they want to do is moan about gigs or moan about comedy. They just want to moan about everything.
Yeah.
Are you promising then that we're going to have a good old moan about your gigs in today's show?
Oh, I'll moan. I love a moan. Like,
wicked.
Professional moaner.
I'm so negative. Yeah, we'll talk about everything terrible about comedy. Like, there's loads of good stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love my job.
Yeah.
But I could sit and say it was awful for days on end.
Well, we can either do that, or we can actually have a positive review of how we've been killing some time recently.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
We can do that. Nice little seg there. Actually, before I do that, Funk, we need to remind people what they need to do on the Apple Podcast app before we continue with today's show.
Subscribe.
There we go. Thank you very much. Give us 5 stars as well. Tell us you like us, even if you don't. It helps us get to more ears.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. At the start of every show, we talk about how we've been killing some time.
Yeah.
Usually Funk and I discuss something that we've been playing or doing or eating or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now, we've had the chance today, like we've been doing with a few guests recently, to kill some time before the show. And we played Super Mario Smash Brothers Ultimate.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So many innuendos from this game, bruv.
Yeah.
First things first, did anyone from Nintendo know that the word smash means fornication, bruv?
Possibly.
No, I think they didn't because it's a Japanese company, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Japanese are incredibly polite and incredibly conservative.
right.
So I think they're going into it truly innocent.
Okay, so whenever we say the word smash Nintendo, we are solely talking about the computer game, all right? So we're not being rude at all. Actually, in Mario Kart, the Mario Kart that dropped on the Switch Deluxe, they actually had to do a little patch because one of the characters, when they went past, when you go past characters, they do little, and you get past them, when you do a little like celebration, one of them turn around the Splatoon one and you go like that.
Yeah, give you the up yours.
They didn't know. They didn't know. Nintendo didn't know that the
Whereas
up
they're all
yours.
sat in Japan going, well, that's just a gesture with your arm. That's fine. We'll have that.
Whenever we drive over here, everyone does it to us, so it must be nice, right?
It's quite a common hand signal for road users in London.
Yeah.
When I was a tourist in London taking photos in places where I shouldn't be stopping when people are walking behind me, people kept doing that to me, so it must be something like European. You know, it's not rude at all.
You thought they were complimenting your biceps.
Hey,
take more photos, please, tourists.
So, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate there's been a lot of hype around the game, hasn't there, Funk, really, about it kind of just having every single character from the Nintendo universe.
Yeah, there's been a lot of passion from your end about a certain character we won't go into that you're still campaigning to get, and you have threatened to streak and do all sorts of madness to get this character input into the game.
Now, I'm a little bit frustrated, but I'm sorry, we're totally digressing now. We'll get back to you.
I really like that this has bothered you so much. I think it's really, genuinely quite sweet.
So, they claim to have every single character, and I've wrongly said that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I've lied to you. Sorry, listener.
This is the kind of conversation you used to have when you were 13 about a game, isn't it? Well, they claim to have all the characters, but actually...
There's one character that I was really excited about, and that's Waluigi. Yeah. One, because I love the way that they just made his ridiculous name, because there's Mario and Wario, and Wario's evil Mario.
Yeah.
And they said, right, what will we call evil Luigi? Waluigi, right?
Because you can't have Luigi. Actually,
Waluigi? I don't know, but I just love the fact he goes, haha, I'm Waluigi. I'm like, he's the best. So I was really excited, and we're talking to two presenters of a show called Games, Gadgets and Rhymes, and Midas let me know that there is no Waluigi in this, and I was really upset, and I thought I was the only one that was really upset, and he flippantly said, yeah, there's petitions online and everything. No, there's actually petitions online saying bring back Waluigi, put him into the game, but I reckon downloadable content is a thing in 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
It could be available
I
in
mean,
the
this has
future.
riled up the gaming community quite a bit, but
Bruv.
nobody actually knows if Nintendo made any suggestions that character would be in there. I think you and your mates out there, whoever they are,
Yeah. All of them.
You and your friend.
Hundreds of thousands of them. I'm telling you, I've seen it. Seen the paperwork.
Well, I think, you know
it's
what,
going to Parliament.
Isn't there something
two of
lovely
you.
about that, though? That like loads of people have gone, we love this character, we want it as a part of it. It's really nice. It's
Yeah,
a
it
nice
is.
side of gaming, I think,
It is,
that
it
everyone's
is.
come together to go, let's get something that we want in a game, even though it doesn't really matter. Like, it's not like, there's no flaw in the gameplay. There's
Sorry,
no...
what? What do you mean it doesn't matter? I'm
No,
sorry,
I
what?
mean, it
All right.
matters, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a flaw in the gameplay or anything. It's just like, we really want this bit and we're going to all get together to do it.
And it could happen. That's
It
the
could.
sort of thing.
I
That's
think
the sort
that's
of thing. So yeah, the game. How was it for you? This was your first time. We just threw it at you. Was it first time on a Switch controller?
It was my first time on a Switch, yeah.
Okay,
and I
how was that?
really liked it, although it's very small when you split it up to play 2-player,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
took a little bit of getting used to, but actually by the end it was totally fine, you didn't notice.
All right.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was loads of characters that I've not thought about for about 15 years. Like, I don't think I've said the name Zelda out loud since I was a 13-year-old boy.
Not like the way you said it. I was like,
Zelda! Oh, Zelda. Oh, I had some confusing times to that game. So yeah, it was quite nice. I love the nostalgia of it. I think it's a really smart idea to put all their characters in together.
Yeah, almost all of the characters. I'll get over it. So yeah, we split the Switch control pad into two parts as well. I mean, I'd say like controller wise, I'd recommend if you want to get that full Smash experience. If you want to get the full Smash experience, if you try and get two control pads for what do you reckon, Funk?
Yeah,
What do you reckon if you had like
I
a
think
bigger
so.
setup, right? Because the control pads are cool when you break them up for less complex games. But I think when you're trying to pull off sick moves,
Yeah.
You didn't
harder
need to
do
use
it.
pull off there. That's your own fault. That isn't Nintendo's fault.
Pull off Smash. 7 minutes into the show. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. So gameplay wise, that was cool. And
Because you said when you use the separate controllers, it actually limits the amount of moves you can do.
I feel like there's probably like a shift button somewhere on a control pad where you can unlock other controls.
Okay.
Like, but we didn't really take time. We just broke the Nintendo Switch down and just played it. Still had a bit of fun though. Like versus mode's cool against your mates, and then we also found a tag team mode, Team Smash. Also found
This is a minefield.
teenagers.
You know what? I wasn't hoping to come onto this podcast and end my career by, saying something really inappropriate.
Oh man. So yeah, that was it. In terms of gameplay though, like Tag Team Smash, how was that for you, Funk?
I think I was more interested in finding my own personal character, my favourites in there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, outside of that, there is a lot going on. I can see a lot of people having some sort of epileptic attack from watching everything happening on the screen.
Man.
It's a very bright and visual game.
It is a feast for the eyes.
Yeah. 8-bit next to HD, a Pokemon
4K.
Yeah, next to
explosion.
Link. Yeah. It's a very busy screen, but I kind of like it because I think in the chaos sometimes you can kind of when a few of us are playing, you can kind of have a run off and like mess around on a level, pick up a power up, whether it's a Pokeball or a hammer, or a ray gun. I think that's
a Smash element because I can't really see any element of real skill happening in this game because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
Like, how can you really say you meant to transport to that side of the screen and kung fu kick Jigglypuff?
Who's got a sword for some reason.
And a ray gun. This is sick. Yeah.
But it's a good game with people. Like, if there's a load of you around, because it's chaos, if there's like you got a load of mates, it'd be really good for that. Just
Definitely.
to chuck it around because it's not like you're keeping score really.
Yeah.
And I've won that one, you play the next couple.
Yep.
Let's all have a few drinks and just play a bit of Switch.
Definitely.
100%. I'm across that. Yeah, so that's going to get a thumbs up from me, man. Like, I don't want to break down the game into like out of 5 stars and stuff, but I think it's a thumbs up. It's definitely a game that I'll have around over the Christmas period. Like a few drinks before you go out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whack it on. And especially if you've got a mate that's got another Switch as well, that's 4 people that can play as well.
That would be too much going on, I think.
Bruh, the screen would be insane. Insane. But yeah, so there you go. Also, you can check out a video of us playing that. We'll put a link to it in the show description as well. And we're also on the YouTube as well. So How to Kill an Arrow is what you want to search for. But you've just bought your first console though, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've had consoles in the house because we've got a younger brother who's really into games.
Okay.
But this week I've got a PS4 for the first time.
So talk me through how this happened then.
My girlfriend bought the PS4 because they've re-released Spyro.
Keeper.
And that's and so I came home one day and there's this PS4. I was like, why have we got a PS4? And she went, I bought it and Spyro. But it's quite nice because Spyro is actually really good, this new Spyro. We've had loads, like hours in the evening, just sat playing it while having a gin and tonic. Brilliant. But I've got, all my friends are really into games. So it just means that I've gone, right, there's been games out for years. What do I get? And they've gone, here are the games you got. So, I bought Fallout 4, which I've started playing, which I really like.
Yeah.
And I like games like that. I know a lot of people find them a bit boring when there's loads of story elements and things like that. But I love a game where you sit for 10 minutes and watch a video in between every bit. Because I get scared playing games as well. So I need, when you get to the end, you're like, oh, thank God, it's 10 minutes of a film now, so I can just chill out for a second. I like those bits more. I'm just going, oh, what happens next? Very exciting. So yeah, I love it. It's really good. I don't know why I haven't got one earlier.
And do you think that it's just going to be Spyro and done, or do you think you're going to be... Because there's a lot of big games out this year.
Crash Bandicoot's coming out, which she's already excited about. I mean, I go out with a 12-year-old, apparently, which is, the first I found out about it, I'm as shocked as Kevin Spacey. And, but yeah, so, she wants all these, kind of retro games, but I'm quite into, finding out, I want Red Dead Redemption is something that everyone's been talking about, and I'm now going to get.
It's a tongue twister, isn't it?
Red Dead Redemption. I can't say it.
Red Dead Redemption
2. The problem is there's so many games. If I go, I'll have Red Dead Redemption, they'll be like, oh yeah, that is actually a spin-off of it.
Oh, you want the download? Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah.
I saw Fallout 76 and I was like, how have they got so many Fallouts? Because I'm such an amateur with it.
They took that off Apple, didn't they? Apple were like, iPhone 8, iPhone 10. iPhone 10.
Yeah.
So Fallout went...
What horrible things happen in the lab with the 9? Jeez. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm coming at it from a totally sort of unbiased point of view because I've never had a PlayStation before. So
cool.
I'm quite excited.
Welcome to the
not
community.
Do any work.
Yeah.
Welcome to the gang. I'd just like to let you know that you're in a room where there's 4 of us. Producer Billy is in here.
Yep.
3 of us own a PS4. Billy, unfortunately, own... What was it you own again, Billy?
Xbox One.
Don't say it so loud.
So it says it with his chest.
So this is a world that I'm excited to get into, this tribalism in gaming. So why don't you like an Xbox One?
I just like the releases that PS4 have given us at the moment.
Okay,
so basically things like the Uncharted series, like Funk Lights, and you'd love these because they're cutscene heavy.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was an amazing
I've heard
game.
people going on about that.
PS4 only.
Okay.
So
it's more about the releases than it is about the console then?
Yeah, for me, I think at this stage in time, all the consoles pack the same amount of power, right? But it's what can I play? Do you know what I mean? What do I want to play? So a lot of people say that if you're more heavily into online, then Xbox is where it's at.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I like story and I like things that have, I like cutscenes. So if you like those, by the way, to go back to what you said, Red Dead Redemption is very cutscene heavy.
Yeah.
And it's a real slow pace. You'll love it. You'll feel like an actual cowboy.
I love a game that takes forever, basically, and you're in the story. That's all what I'm all about. And I don't like online either because I don't like an 8-year-old from America calling me a bellend. Which is all that is online, isn't it? If you're playing, I've played Call of Duty online before, and I've just had to take the headphones off because I want to cry.
You hear some wickedness on that. I think is that one of the cruelest parts of the internet, do you reckon?
Well, the gamers.
The online gamers,
the online abuse.
Yeah,
you have not seen what they say about me on the Big Brother forums from when I worked on that show. When I did Big Brother's bit on the side for a couple of years, they were not a fan of me.
Yeah, what did you get? What's some of the worst stuff that you got? Go on.
So I used to do stand-up on it a few times a week, they used to do on I'm a Celebrity spin-off show and all that. And they used to call me, I don't know how much, can I swear on your podcast?
Yeah, go for it, man.
They used to call me the Oxbridge cunt. And I don't have a degree. I didn't go to university. But they're all just like, well, because these people go, that Oxbridge cunt who thinks I can't believe he said that about Sherry Hewson, who's in Celebrity Big Brother. Oh, they were so nasty to me. But you know what? It's my own fault for being so self-involved that I found it online.
Don't you find that?
I Googled myself that much that I was on the bigbrother.forum.com.
And don't you find that a bit of a compliment, though, that people are assuming that you've actually been to university?
Yeah, I was like, people going, well, he's clever enough to be at Oxbridge.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
As long as they're not saying you've got a degree in being a cunt.
Yeah,
that's not cool.
No, it isn't
not
cool.
And I never said that online.
No. So yeah, I mean, but gamers are brutal, aren't they? I think
insane.
If you're not very good at the game as well, and you've got to start somewhere, I suppose. So I've played Call of Duty online with friends, and I don't know how to play it very well, so I'm just starting out, and people don't give you the space to learn.
No.
There's no room for error.
No.
Like, if you fuck up in a squad, you're going to get the maximum amount of heat possible. Like,
That's-
nobody cares.
That's probably why they invite you round, though, to be their whipping boy.
Well, guys, I don't know what language this is, but it doesn't sound like they're being nice about me.
Oh, man. Okay, cool. Well, I look forward to hearing what you want to get. And if you ever want to reach out to us online and ask us what's good gaming-wise,
Absolutely.
we'll hit you up with some
Well, it's nice
good
to know
games.
people who are at the forefront of it and, know what they're talking about.
We're just at the forefront of casual gaming.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can walk into a room and not know what we're talking about and enjoy ourselves just as well as people that do, mate.
They call us blaggers.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the best person to be.
4 years in, going strong still. So yeah, man, what do you want to talk about now? Just let's talk about what you're doing right now at this time, because you've got a very diverse diary. A calendar has got you moving around, but you got a bit of breathing space. At the moment,
you
right?
know what? I'm pretty much done for the year now. So
Okay,
I do a radio show Monday to Friday. I do drive time on Virgin Radio. So I've got that in the week. So I've got a week and a half of that left, and then I've got like a couple of little comedy club gigs, like nothing major. But this time of year, comedy clubs are horrific, because it's full of Christmas parties. So this is, for us in December, if you're in the clubs, like it's the most lucrative time because there's loads of gigs, but it's all Christmas parties who hate you and are so battered that they can't even talk but keep yelling stuff out. So it's not a fun time of year if you're just doing comedy, but I don't do that many, so it's kind of fine. And it's kind of fun because you go in going, I'm getting paid, no matter how badly this goes. So if they yell out, you just sort of have a bit of a fight with an audience.
I mean, personally, what is your coping mechanism for hecklers?
My coping you know what? 9 times out of 10, it's fine because they're battered and you've got a microphone, so you can deal with it. You know, my problem is not heckling, it's people talking as a group and distracting you, because that's quite, when you're trying to sort of hit, a rhythm of what you're talking about, and there's just a group of people chatting, that's way more annoying than one person going, "You're a wanker."
Yeah.
Because you can deal with that, and if the whole room hears it, you can deal with it. Whereas if the worst thing I ever had is one guy in the front row, under his breath, was just calling me a dick, like, and calling me all these names. Dick. Yeah, he's going, "Oh, you think that's good, do you?" Like, stuff like that. But he was doing it quiet enough that only I could hear him. So I couldn't do anything about it, because if I laid into him, the whole audience would be like, why has he just gone for this guy for no reason? So that's quite annoying. But yeah, I mean, you get all sorts. Like, I quite like a heckler, because if it's at a gig that you're doing quite well at, most of the time they just want to join in, which is quite nice, and they want to chip in with their story. So like, I did one last year. I was doing a gig in Covent Garden, and I was on stage. It was going really well, and a bloke threw his prosthetic arm at me. A one-armed guy. And I couldn't believe it, right? Because I was on stage, and this thing hits the back wall of the gig, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And like, because it was going well, I picked it up, and it was this big, it wasn't a very good prosthetic, I'd say. Like, it was quite rubbery. So it looked like, do you know when you go into Soho and you see those things that are for fisting? You know, those fisting dildos, right? So it was like that. It was like a rubber arm with like a fist on the
Italian
end.
fisting dildo.
Yes. So I picked it up and I was like, who's just thrown an arm dildo at me? And this guy put his stump in the air and went, "Me, mate." And I was like, okay, well, this is brilliant. And I just went to him, I was like, why did you throw that at me? And he went, "I think you're shit." And I was like, "You've missed your opportunity to say it looked like I needed a hand." So that ended up actually, and then he tried to get on stage to get his arm back, and I wouldn't give him his arm back. And every time I sort of said something about him that slammed him, I high-fived his own hand. Like, which was really funny because he was engaged, and actually he threw it and I asked him afterwards, "Why did you throw it?" And he went, "Oh, I threw it because I do it at gigs when I'm enjoying myself. I think it's like a fun thing to do to, like, make a bit unique." And actually, that leaving that gig, that's all anyone would have remembered about my set is that, and it was a really fun, interesting, unique moment that will never happen again. So I actually quite like that. That didn't annoy me. I thought that guy was brilliant.
It's like a 4D applause, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh. Oh my god! And I was, you know what? Because he was so involved in it, it meant that you could say some you could be quite nasty to him because it was all a laugh and he was engaged. Like, because he was going, "I think you're shit at comedy." I was like, "I can do up my own buttons," and stuff like that. And it just meant because everyone was on board, it made this really great moment. And I think. So I love it when people get involved. Like, I don't, if they're being annoying or drunk, there's ways to deal with them, but it's mostly just getting security to kick them out, really.
Brilliant.
But it doesn't happen too much as well, because everyone assumes that comics get heckled all the time, but it's a rare occurrence, I'd say.
Do you think your time on the floor or on the stage, like, because you were talking to us about having a year we did, was it like 300 gigs in a year?
Yeah. So like I used to sort of the first 4 or 5 years when I was on the circuit, I did 300 gigs a year.
That's insane.
And did that kind of give you everything you needed to deal with every situation? Because that's a heck of a lot of shows,
Yeah,
bro.
you know, so probably like, you know, I've done thousands of gigs now, but the thing that teaches you is I've failed at every gig now. Like I've died on my arse at every type of gig, in a village hall, in an arts centre, in a theatre. Like I've bombed, and that's when you learn how to be good. Is when you learn how to be bad.
What do you define as bombing, though? I mean, clearly, because if you're
It's silence.
Really
20 minutes. I mean, I did my own tour date once on my first tour. I did an hour and a half in 2 sections to nothing.
Oh,
But once you've done it, you come out of it and you go, "Oh, no one died. Like no one's hurt.
Yeah.
Like that's the worst thing that can happen."
Yeah.
A load of people went, "Oh, that wasn't worth 12 quid." But you know what? Like no refunds. Who cares? Like, cheers for your money.
yeah.
But I remember once doing a gig, and I used to get booked for this gig. It was in Oxfordshire, so I grew up around there, and I lived around there for ages when I started, and it was quite hard. It was hard, like for whatever reason, like I don't know why it was hard, but it was hard to do this gig, and I did it a few times, and I always really struggled to do okay. And then I remember seeing Sarah Millican at it. And I was like, "Yo, you're amazing. Like, how could you do this gig when I can never do this gig so well?" And it was just before she became massive. And she went, "Oh, I've died here about 8 times." And you're like, "Oh, there we like. That's the only way you get good is by being crap and then learning." It's just the problem with being crap in any other thing is you can be crap privately. Like if you're a magician, you're crap in your bedroom and you get good in your bedroom. Like Dynamo was terrible when he started, but got good and then got on telly and got famous. In comedy, you have to be crap in front of a room full of strangers.
Yeah.
So it's just embarrassing.
Do you find it happens a lot in your career that people try to sanitize their careers and remove all the little bad parts out of it to portray this image that they're hilarious everywhere?
Yeah, totally. Like, I mean, so like anyone on the internet, like comics are the worst on Facebook. Like when they're going, "Oh, so tonight, right, I was in Brighton tonight and, they were a real bunch of assholes. And, thankfully I had it." And they'll just humble brag about how they smashed the gig. And you're just like, nobody cares, mate, because I saw you 3 weeks ago die on your ass in front of the nicest audience of all time. And that is, but it's a careerist thing because on Facebook you're friends with promoters and comics. Like they're just saying they smash gigs to try and get other gigs. Yeah,
that kind of happens in the music world where I'm a DJ and what they do is, from a DJ's perspective, if you smash the crowd, the picture will be from behind the DJ's head, so you can see the sea of people. Yeah. When there's no one there, it's the camera's facing them.
So that's you're terrible. Why have you got to do that to them?
Sorry, guys.
Just
put the secret out
little
there.
peek behind the curtain there. Jeez.
Yeah.
But it's true, and everyone does that, don't they? Like it's that's the problem with online, like social media and things. But you learn to read between the lines like that. You know the picture. You know when someone's posted going, "Well, you were shit." Like, but you want to talk about it and talk about what was good about it. It's like this guy who I won't name him because it's not fair, but he's always like, "Tonight was a real learning curve," and I'm like, "Yep, you were terrible." That's what that means.
That's coded language.
That's very much so.
I'm really grateful for gigs like this evening because it makes me grow, and I'm like, because you started terrible, so you can grow. But you just learn to read, and it's quite funny because you just sit scrolling through it. Say if you've had a terrible one or a bad one, you're like, he had a bad one, he had a good one, he had a bad one. So it's quite good fun.
Fair enough. So name of the tour right now is Slash, right?
Yeah, Slash.
Why is it called Slash?
It's called Slash because people think it's because of like weeing. So I sort of regret. I kind of slightly regret calling it Slash, but I thought it was quite like a bold word.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's called Slash because it's basically mostly just normal stand-up, apart from a few times during the show I talk about all the gay erotic fiction that's been written about me online. Which is called Slash Fiction. That's the name of like this gay erotica. Yeah. Okay. So it's like a teenage girl fan fiction thing, and I got caught up in it, I suppose. Like, there's not tons about me online, but there is a bit. And it's all about me, Harry Styles, and Nick Grimshaw. Because
Googling now as we speak.
The website's called Archive of Our Own, and it's weird because I know Nick Grimshaw and like I used to hang out with him a bit when I first got into telly. Yeah. And it was just after he'd hung out with Harry Styles, and everyone thought him and Harry Styles were having it off. Yeah. So when I started hanging out with him, they're like, "Matt's the new Harry, then together." So all these teenage girls who are mad Harry Styles fans started writing about me and Nick Grimshaw and Harry Styles having mad threesomes.
So they've created this fake narrative amongst the three of you, but
Yeah.
But did you know about this scene, as it were, prior to that?
Not really, until I found it once again, because I'm self-obsessed and was googling myself loads.
Yeah.
But I read it all, and loads of it is really funny and like really weird. And also in all of it, like they treat Harry and Nick like they're these sex gods, and then it's like me, like it's, and then I'm like,
where do you fit into that?
And I'm the loser. So there's a story where like we all have this threesome, and afterwards it's like Matt couldn't help himself but clean up straight away. It's like, why make me that guy?
So they've not even written you in as in Matt's pulsing.
Matt's like Matt's pulsating. There's one, and there's some of them have been deleted since I started talking about it a lot. But there's one that I read, and they were like, I get naked in front of Harry Styles, and it goes, and then like, so I pull my trousers down, and I'm stood there, and it goes, and the next line is, Harry had to stifle a laugh, and I'm like, what?
Oh, that's not cool.
Yeah, and it's like, and it goes, and then Harry says, and then he goes, what's the line? It goes, Harry knew it would be small, but even this was a surprise. And I'm like, I'm in the porn. Why am I a loser? I'm in it, and I'm a loser still. So I sort of read it out because it's that kind of like, look at my show's a bit about like, because I'm sort of on a bit of telly and things, but I'm not famous, so it's like I'm in this sort of world a bit, but it's still all slightly shit for me. So it's the kind of perfect thing. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm in show business, but not at the glamorous end of it. So like, it was, for example, I talk about on stage about I was once an answer to a question on Pointless, right? So I'm famous enough that my name can be an answer to a question on Pointless.
That's pretty famous.
But I was the pointless answer because no one knew who I was. So it's like the whole show's basically this going, how cool is this? Oh no, it's shit. Like, I'm still a bellend. So like, even though I live like a coolish life, it's still a bit shit. So that's what the show's about really. So I use the slash fiction to talk about that. Okay,
I was not aware of slash. I feel like there's a whole lot going. I've just seen
there's a whole
wow.
slash community.
This is 3,000 words of
they don't piss about. Like they're long stories. The weirdest ones are there's not even sex in some of them. It's like just like me and Harry, and it's like a brushed knee and a stolen glance. They're the creepiest ones.
Wow, you sound like a bit of a predator in this one, by the way.
Oh, do I? Go on.
Oh my God, Nick says, putting his face in his palms. Matt slides a drink in front of him and says, "Here, darling, have another." Get in.
Oh, that's the smoothest line I've ever heard.
Oh my gosh. Oh wait, Harry can't stand the way Matt says darling. Matt slides his hand under the table and rests it on Nick's thigh, smirking when Nick's eyes widen in surprise. You predator! Bruv, you are moving him up there, bruv.
What's a pervert?
So Matt's been written in as this disruptive energy between Harry and...
So he's just this troublemaker.
Like these teenage girls that are One Direction fans do not have a warm place in their hearts for me.
It's amazing.
So yeah, I talk about it on stage. I sit on a stool and read it dramatically in a spotlight and all that. But it's mostly just me talking about penises and fannies. Like I'm not like
kind of like the theme of this show.
Yeah, I'm not a highbrow comic. I really like rude jokes. Like I've got a 12-minute long routine about taking my girlfriend's tampon out for her because she was too drunk to do it herself. Like it's pretty base. I'd say like if you loved The In-Betweeners, I'm the comic for you.
Take that as a quote. That should be on a poster, innit?
Yeah.
If you love The In-Betweeners, this is the comic for you.
It's just a bit zero. And like, there's loads of great comics these days who are doing like loads about Brexit and like political stuff.
Yeah.
And I just think like that's not, I love watching it, but it's just not my thing. I just want to go on and go, it's just a bit of a laugh. I'm going to talk about things that I find really funny. I'm going to try and like gross you out a bit. Let's see where it goes.
Fair enough. I mean, do you think that in this time where this is such a common conversation, you can't stick on the TV, open a paper, whatever, go on social media without hearing about this? You think there's a place, while respectfully understanding that this is happening and being aware of it, do you think it's really important for there to be a space in comedy where there's just fun for the sake of fun?
Totally. Like, and you know what? There's the beautiful thing about comedy is it's like music, and there's a spectrum that is infinite with each style that crosses over and does whatever. Like you can go to Japan and see a load of 12-year-old girls in a death metal band, and and the same with comedy. Like you can go and see someone who talks about Brexit and is brilliant, or you can go and see Eddie Izzard or someone who's just going to talk about badgers and jam and whatever, or someone who's just going to go wait, lad, let's talk about dicks. So yeah, I think it is, and you know what? Like, people just want to like things are crap at the moment, I think. Like, and it's like games or even a podcast. Like, it's like, let's just think about something that isn't terrible for a bit.
Escapism.
Exactly
That's what it is.
that. Yeah.
I'm
so
all
I think
about
it
that.
is important, and you don't know what's going on in people's lives. So they've come out, they've come to see you on tour, they've got a babysitter, they've had a hard week at work.
Yeah.
I just want to go, I'm just going to make you, I don't know, don't worry about it. I'm going to make you laugh as much as I can possibly make you laugh for the next hour.
That's very important.
And that's all I'm interested in. And my hats off to comics that want to make a statement and want to say something important. That is really vital, but it isn't me.
Fair enough. Well, you're on tour till May next year, right?
I'm on tour till May, it's really spread out. It's nice.
Well, does that mean you've got quite high energy levels as well? You don't feel like it's just rigmarole?
I'm doing like one a week or something like that,
Nice.
so it's sort of dossy in between like the radio and a few other bits and bobs.
Good stuff. I think your first date in 2019 is Maidstone, Kent.
Yeah.
19th of January.
Never been there before. Apparently it's a shit.
It's close enough to London to have all of the worst bits of London. And close enough outside of London to have all the worst bits of the outside of London mixed up together. You'll enjoy it.
Oh, thanks. I'm
Please
looking
come back
forward
on the
to
show. We'll find out how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll call you that day.
That expression was like, you're not missing out much.
Well, I've had my Nintendo Switch nicked from the dressing room. So thanks, guys.
Was that Bill?
That's my neck of the woods. So
Oh, sorry, Billy.
Billy, what's it like?
Look at him.
It's so-so. There is other better areas, but it's so-so.
To be fair, my hometown was in the Crap Towns book, so like
Okay.
I've sympathised, Billy.
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently the streets are paved with Marmites.
Right, so the tour's called Slash. This leads us on to a question that I try to remember to ask each and every one of our guests. Now, when people hear the word Slash, they think of piss, right? Now, I'm going to talk about the other thing that you do, which is go for a poo. So we've asked a question and we've uncovered two types of... Billy hates this. We've uncovered two types of human beings that exist, and you don't know the other exists until we have this discussion, right?
Okay.
When you go for a shit,
Yes.
when you're wiping your ass, do you stand up or stay seated when you wipe?
I absolutely stay seated. What? I mean, this is like opened my world up. Like, you were right. You're like, I was going, what's he going to say? I'm going to know what he's talking about the other person. No, I sit down.
Bruv, there's a actual group of people. In fact, we've done it.
Is anyone in this room a stand?
I'm a sitter.
Are you a sitter?
What was that?
You're a
What do you mean
You're
you
a
don't-
sitter. You're a sitter.
Yeah, I was a sitter.
You're a sitter.
Yeah.
No, funk flip flops.
You know what?
Billy's getting upset.
Hang on. Funk, you got to stand with me, man.
Are you a stander?
Yeah, Funk stands as well. But every time he changes his mind.
Okay.
So we've had a 60%. It's gone 55, 60. But you're on the sitting side.
I'm a sitter.
How do you feel about there being
But also,
standers out there?
I'm a looker as well, so
Yeah,
I'll
but-
wipe and check.
You did it from the front.
Yeah, I wipe from the. Whoa,
What?
I wipe. I put my hand between my legs. Why would you go back and lean? Like,
Because I don't
put my
want to
hand
get any shit on my balls.
I'm not going to hold my balls up. Oh my god! Like, am I doing this? Am I doing this wrong?
My mind's blown, bruv.
I mean,
we
I didn't
found
wanna-
subsections
I
within this.
didn't think on a Tuesday I would realise
that's a new technique.
that my life was a lie.
So we have a wipe.
I lift up my junk and then wipe from underneath and then check it to make sure all the poo's off the paper.
That's how you wipe babies, technically, isn't it?
I don't know what to say.
Am I doing it weird?
Is it? Do you think it's weird for me to go wipe from? That's I go.
You know what? From the front is laziness because I don't want to lift up an arse cheek.
Wow.
Yeah,
This
I wipe
just
from the.
This is the gift that doesn't stop giving. This conversation.
You know
this
what?
question.
What
Matt's got a point though, because one time I've tilted to the side and I've actually fallen off because.
Yeah, because you were stood up, mate. You're on one leg. Absolute balance. That's also what I was going, why do people wipe from the front? That's a really long reach back to your arse, obviously, because you wipe from the back.
It's closer.
That makes total sense to stand.
Oh.
Well, I mean, who knew that there were so many ways? Because it is one of those, it's so intimate that you don't know you're doing it wrong.
You just don't talk. Has anyone ever asked you, how do you wipe your ass? No one's ever gone, hey, how you doing, mate? How do you wipe
Never.
your ass?
Never.
It's just not in that normal line of conversation.
And you know what? It's kind of like a nice quirk, isn't it? Everyone's got their own little things.
Yeah.
Here's a punchline: stand-ups do sit down.
You know that's going to be the new poster I'm going to have for my story. It's going to be me holding my balls in a piece, looking into the camera like, you know that look that every comedian does on their poster of going, what am I like? That kind of, look at me at odds with the world. That face, every comedian's got it. Like that kind of...
Or you could be looking
It's
at
not
the
really
tissue.
good for an audio, you know, that, like that McIntyre kind of. He always does that, you know. How do you wipe your ass? Are you wiping below? Are you going? Do you stand up? I know people that stand up. Do you stand up when you wipe?
I would love to see the poster.
No,
Balls in one hand. And
unbelievable. When you're standing and you wipe your bum, it's great, isn't it? You know, you're wiping. Your wife walks in and she's going, "Why are you stood up?" And you're going, "I don't know. Why are you stood up?" Like you know what? Thanks for the inspiration, guys. This is going to be my next tour.
I want to see the poster with balls in one hand and shitty tissue in the other.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? Slash and then shit. They're going to look great on my agent's wall. Those posters.
SNS.
If I was ever a big enough comedian to make the wall, but
not M&S, SNS.
SNS.
This isn't just any kind of shit.
What a fascinating thing! What are you, do you have any? I like to use a wet wipe if I can as well.
There's a lot of love for wet wipes out here, and there's also people that are just like, at what stage in our life did we say, right, babies, they have wet wipes? So what stage are we like, right, you're old enough now, and you've probably got a hairy ass now, just use tissue.
I'm actually banned from wet wipes though because I've blocked the toilet a few times.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? And I watched that thing about the fatberg as well, so I use a wet wipe, and then I'm having a guilty shit.
Yeah. Well, what do we do then?
I'm like, this Victorian sewer system isn't designed to deal with these. But you're right, they do block, because even if they say flushable, they're not technically flushable.
No.
So I do like a wet wipe, but I just feel bad about using them because you're right. Hair, we shouldn't be using. It makes more sense to use a wet wipe.
Yeah. But so that's like a wet wipe is a guilty pleasure then.
Yeah. A wet wipe is like if I'm like Christmas Day. Whew, a wet wipe and a Lindt chocolate ball on the loo.
Don't get them confused.
Pop the ball up your arse and eat the wet wipe.
Oh man! So I think that's given us a nice taste of the Slash tour, Matt. Cheers! Can't wait for that, bruv.
It's the most fun I've ever had on a podcast. Talking about shitting.
Hey, welcome to How to Kill a Man, bro. It's what we do.
And sometimes I do spend an hour on the toilet as well.
I do like to take my time when I'm having a shit. I stay on way longer than I need to. It's like meditation.
It's quite bad for you. You might prolapse your anus if you do it, but you know what? It's worth the risk.
But even if I'm not pushing.
Yeah, because it's just your body's not designed to have it all because you're everything pushing down on it naturally.
Oh, shit.
So really? you should shit quickly and then leave. You shouldn't sit there for ages. It's not very good for your bum. But I like to have a really good clear out every kind of 3 or 4 days where it'll be like a mountain coming out the water. Like a
what, you break the water?
Yeah, I broke the water yesterday and I sent a picture of it to all my friends because I was just like, I'm living my best life, guys.
Good, Matt. How did they react to that?
With positive comments, mostly.
Good shit.
Yeah. People were like, yeah, brilliant. But we do have a group where that's what we do is we all send each other our shit.
Is it just for that though?
Yeah, we do talk in it, but it didn't start out as that, but it has become that. Because, your friends that you grow up with, that you're a teenager with, and then as you go through life and you go through your 20s, you slowly do kind of, you move away from each other. You don't have as much to say to each other. So we stay bonded by just showing each other dumps. It means we don't have to have that talk of going, so how's life then? How's the job? I don't know what half of them do for a living because I don't care.
But you do know how much fibre they've had in their diet.
Exactly. And is that not more intimate?
It's very important. You know if they're healthy.
I couldn't tell you the company they work for, but I could tell you when they've had sweet corn. Do you know what I mean? And I'll stay friends with them as long as it's never on a pizza, because that's what serial killers do.
Oh, gosh.
Right, so we've done stand-up. Let's do some TV stuff. Celebrity roast battle. Let's talk, man. How's that?
Oh, it was brilliant. I loved it. It was great. Although they cut out a couple of the harsher ones, which is a bit of a shame because I had a really because the problem is with that show is you go in and I was up against my mate Angela, who's a brilliant comedian from Maidstone actually, and she and I sort of got together and we were like, right, let's write it. You can talk about this. This is off limits, which is fair enough, I think.
Yeah.
And we kept sending jokes into the producers and they're going, harsher. Go harsher. We want you to go harsher than that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I can go harsher. And so we were going harsher and harsher and harsher. And in the end, I did a joke about it's a really tasteless subject, but that's the point of the show.
Yeah.
So I did a joke about stillbirth, which is about as far as you could go because they just kept pushing, going push.
Yeah.
And in the end, they went, oh yeah, we need to cut that out. That was too harsh. I'm like, I only did it because you made me.
Yeah.
But it was really good fun, and I lost, which is a shame, but. It was just really weird because it's not like doing stand-up. You're normally in control. You're never normally on stage with another person as well. So, and you're in a pit when you film it. So with all the audience going up, so it feels like a battle. It's really strange.
Yeah,
but I liked it.
Do you think this is the last safe place comedians can really take just go raw as possible?
You know what? I do, because. You've got the license from the audience of Jimmy Carr at the beginning going, this is offensive and it's going to be offensive because you go to comedy clubs, unless someone's come to see your tour, if you're in a club now, you offend people much easier than you used to. And especially at universities, I find now, uni gigs are getting harder and harder. And I'm not an I'm a rude comedian, but I'm not an offensive comedian. I don't talk about anything taboo. I don't talk about anything controversial. I just talk about like shit, poo, and throwing up and periods.
Yeah.
But people get really weird about it and really upset, where they never used to. So I think, a show like that is actually refreshing because you go, I can say whatever I like, actually, as long as it's not libelous and like a lawyer says it's fine, then you can do it. It doesn't matter about how tasteless it is, which was really freeing because it's getting harder to do that now.
I think it's great. Like when I saw the ads for it, I was like, I don't know if this is this gonna work? It fucking works.
It's so good.
Insane.
I think it works the best as well. And there's been a few that aren't friends, but every comic that goes against each other, they're mates. So like Angela's my oldest friend in comedy, like in two ways. Like we've known each other for the longest, and like she's way older than me, which is one of the things I said about her on Rosebud. It's just so easy to slip back into it. But we've known each other for nearly 10 years. So actually, like, it's fine if she says those things about me. Whereas if it was a comic I didn't know that well, it would have really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
So that's the magic of it, is it's two comics that you go, right, they're mates, they know each other really well, and they're just going to lay into each other like you do with your mates if you're being harsh, you know. And I think that's why people like it, is because everyone roasts their friends all the time.
It's like a live WhatsApp group, isn't it? That's what it is. You know, when it's your turn, when it's your turn in the group, you just have to, you have to take the heat.
And it's just that, like, you know, and I think the ones that don't work as well are that if people don't know each other, which has happened once or twice maybe on that show, but they really try and put you with a friend. So when they got in touch with me, they were like, who's your dream person to go against? And it was Angela, so it worked out great.
That's when he goes, 07957 has left the group.
Oh my God.
Add them in again.
Start a new group round about something else, and then we'll descend into this. Oh, I love a WhatsApp group. Oh, they're brilliant. They're feral.
Yeah, I think that is another area of social media where people think Twitter is where the harshest conversation is at. I think the WhatsApp group, that is where it's at.
I've said things in WhatsApp that if I said them out loud, I would be fired from all my jobs. You know, because
100%.
Because it's your friends. It's a license, isn't it? You can push it, and I think it's healthy to do that. And you know, these days when people's old messages and things like that get, you know, like, they ruin careers now, like if they get on telly and things. Like, I think, don't be racist, don't be homophobic, be kind to people online, but if it's your friends, like, you've got a different context there that you can play with.
100%.
Sometimes that's taken out of context, but you know, half the time it's just a Big Brother person. You go, oh no, you are a massive homophobe. Actually, you shouldn't be on telly.
Carrying on from TV, Netflix seems to be the future of where television is headed.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Netflix and where it shapes itself in terms of a comedian's career?
I love Netflix. It's brilliant. But the problem is, I feel like I'm the only comedian without a special, because there's so many comedy specials on there. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because the problem with comedy at the moment is comedy's not trendy at the moment, I don't think, stand-up. It went through a huge boom about 15 years ago, and when I started, it was still in the peak of that boom.
Yep.
And then now, like, clubs are shutting down. Clubs are shutting down. There's less places to gig. They're paying less money because there's less people coming out to see live comedy. But then I don't know if Netflix and places like that and Amazon, it's because they've got so many specials that why would you go to a comedy club when you can watch, you know, Ricky Gervais in your living room do a special, and you can get every single special, and you pay £4 a month or whatever it is for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's having a negative effect on live comedy. If you're one of the comics that has a special, it, you know, elevates your career and people go and see that person. But I don't know if it's good for comedy as a whole. So, like, if I got a special, I'd sell out a tour. It'd be great, my next tour. But it wouldn't help the comedy clubs in the country if I had a special on.
There's definitely a thirst for it. I think it's Kay Kurd came on a couple of episodes ago, another comedian, and he said that there's going to be something like 40 plus specials dropping in and around Christmas and New Year's.
So they filmed a load. They did 40 half-hour specials that they filmed in Montreal last year. And there's loads of English, like Joel Dommett's got one, Ellie Taylor, a few other English people. But it's from all over the world. There's some French guys and German guys. But they're comics that, you know, have profile in their own countries and not anywhere else. And I don't know if I'd watch someone who I didn't know who they were first.
Yeah.
Like, I other people may be different, but I'm very safe on Netflix. Like, I have to know someone in it or something about the film before I put it on. I won't just go, that one, whatever.
It's true. I'm the same.
So, you know, I don't know if people are going to be watching it all over the world, or if it will help people out, or if it won't. Like, whereas if I see someone, I go, I've heard of them, I've heard they're really good, I'll definitely watch that. So I don't know, really. It's a weird time because they're doing like 15-minute specials. Phil Wang and Aisling B went and did a 15-minute recorded special. And like, I don't see the point of that. It's great for them and like brilliant for their career, but like, I wouldn't want to sit and watch a 15-minute special on Netflix, but then people sit and watch 15 minutes of stand-up on YouTube. So I don't really know. Like, it's really strange at the moment with
Yeah.
Netflix.
I've just got to presume Netflix are doing it for a reason because they have the numbers. They know, like you said,
Exactly.
people watch 15 minutes on YouTube. Maybe that's that golden shift where they're like, you know what, that's a perfect length for this special.
And you know what? When you do a comedy club and you do 20 minutes, I think an hour of anyone is more than enough. Like I think 45 minutes for me, and then I go, cool, I get what you're about and I get that you're funny.
Yeah,
I'm done
cool.
now.
But I think you have touched on an important point, because if that is happening on that Netflix end, what is happening to the footfall of people at the live events? And if there is kind of like a vacuum appearing.
Totally, and I think more and more people go on their own tours now rather than doing clubs, which makes it harder if you're on a tour because it's kind of dividing the audience. If you're in like the art centres and little theatres that I do,
Okay.
But it's I don't know if it's actually helping people who want to go to comedy clubs, like in their local pub or in a bar or something like that happens monthly in their hometown, which people should do because comedy's brilliant. Like live comedy is the best thing ever. Like I get bored of it and jaded about it, and I'll moan about it till the cows come home every time anyone asks me about it. But actually, like I am spoiled that I get to see the best comedians in the country all the time, just doing their thing.
Are you still a fan of consuming comedy, even though you work in the industry?
Yeah, totally. Like I went to see a show last week at the Soho Theatre. I went to see a guy called Nath Valvo, who's an Australian comic, who was excellent. Like so good. I enjoyed it more than I've enjoyed sitting and watching stand up for a long time.
Okay.
And it in a little 100-seat theatre, like just brilliant guy who isn't that well known over here. But I do love doing that, and I still watch specials. I watched Russell Brand's special recently. I watched Ricky Gervais's special, and I will watch a lot of comedy. I think for someone that doesn't, gets more than my fair share of comedy in life. Like I see more comedy than most other people do. I still go home and then go, I'll go and watch Russell Brand's show.
Got to stick it on.
Do you think the rise of a comic has changed in the modern era? Because obviously a lot of comics are coming up through the social media age, and they don't have to market themselves per se in the under the gaze of the live audiences.
Totally, but you know what happens is you get comics that come up through that area and are brilliant, and then you get then they all want to go and do live stuff.
Okay.
So guys that came up through Vine or came up through the perfect example is Dapper Laughs a few years ago, who came up doing stuff online, and then he did a live tour, and it was a disaster because he hadn't. Stand-up's a skill. Being funny is sort of a gift, but it is also a skill, I think. So you got to hone it. And I think people are naturally funny over a couple of minutes online, and then they go and do an hour-long show and actually realise that it takes a good few years to get good enough to hold people's attention for that long. Definitely. So it's great because people are developing developing interesting, unusual stuff. Because online, you don't have to make money to put yourself out there. People just watch what they like. Yeah. So it's not like TV where they're going, well, is this going to do well? Are people going to watch this? Like your audience can find exactly what you're doing, which is great, and it means that comedy's more original than ever. But I just think, they come over into the live side and it's not quite what they thought it'd be. But then comics that have been doing live stuff for 15 years are terrible at doing videos. Like my agent always asked me to maybe you should be doing funny online content, like funny Instagram stories and all that. I'm just not very good at it because it's not my skill set. Yeah. So I look at some people who don't even gig and, are just doing funny videos online. I'm like, wish I could, of course, it's so simple, but so brilliant. Why can't I think of stuff like that? But I'm not wired that way. So it's, it's a two-way street really. Like it's brilliant, but it kind of doesn't affect stand-up too much. And then stand-ups doesn't really affect the online things. It's sort of quite separate still. So Mo Gilligan's kind of come over from doing loads of stuff online and has sold out huge rooms. But he was doing stand-up as well anyway, so it's slightly different. And I've never seen him live, but I've heard he's brilliant. But his videos are great because he can do both, and that's really rare.
How do you use social media to kind of to talk to your audience? Really?
I'm terrible. I've got like a decent amount of followers, but I'm just not very good at utilising them. Like, so I'll just be like, come see me live, guys. And like 3 people are like the 3. And I'm also not big about sharing. Like I share on I'm on Instagram and stuff. I like Instagram the best.
Okay, it's a winner at the moment. I've got to say out there. Sorry to talk over you, but Instagram is very. I think it's the hot place right now for everyone. Would you say?
You know what? It's just people going, I'm doing this nice thing, and I think that's the opposite of somewhere like Twitter, where it's like, this Brexit's going on a bit, and everyone's like, you're an idiot. Oh my god. Whereas Instagram's just like, I'm at the beach, and everyone's like, looking great at the beach there. And I just think it's quite. And I've got loads of friends who have like quite interesting lives, and I sort of get to live that life. And I know that there's the whole thing about putting your best foot forward online and how that affects mental health. But I just quite going, my friends are having a nice time. It looks like they're having a lovely time, which I enjoy. And I put up things when I'm doing things that I think are quite cool or something that's a bit funny. But Yeah, I'm not great at social media.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's like Instagram's where you put the joke, and then Twitter's where you put the apology when the joke has been offensive.
Twitter's where they find old things that you said 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I should have deleted that. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Instagram's where you go if you want like to take a photo of your nice white Christmas.
Yeah.
And Twitter's where you go if you want a nice white hierarchy. That's the difference being like, just in the mountains for Christmas, look at all the snow. Whereas on Twitter, you got to be like, oh my God, in the mountains, no black people. Brilliant. Like, they're the differences, I think.
That is brilliant.
I mean, we actually did have a little peek at some of your tweets. I mean, this is a pretty good one. Say not a good tweet. I'm in South Korea and my hotel loo is one of those terrifying robotic ones that shoots water and sings and is potentially sentient. This is one of the most thrilling poos I've ever had.
It was a great poo.
Back at it. Back to the poo.
Back to the poo. You didn't have to wipe. So it's one of those loos where like first off, you got on the seat and it was heated.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. I was in South Korea for a day and a half, and this was my favourite thing about it. I was sort of sat on the loo and I was like, do you know when you get a heated seat in a car and someone turns it on without you knowing, you think you've pissed yourself?
Yeah.
It felt like that. So, and then you finish and you press a little button on the side and a little thing comes out of the back of the loo and goes, and then shoots water up your ass to clean it.
Job on, mate. That's the one.
Which,
hands free.
If you stood up, it just goes on the floor.
Or hit your back.
You just be like, this is a terrible water feature.
I can't wait for us to go to Japan. Fuck. And you come out of the toilet, your trousers are just covered in water.
Stood looking at the loo going, well, I mean, I've seen the fountains at the Bellagio Hotel, and this has got nothing on that.
Hopefully they'll have one for you where you can just lean against the wall and take a shit and it'll spray water at your ass sideways. That could be the one for you, bro. Like a urinal.
My thing with Instagram though is I'm really into planes. So like I'm a plane spotter type, and I Instagram planes that I've been on and things like that. I talk about planes a lot.
Plane spotter.
Yeah,
I've heard of train spotter.
My bag's in the other room. I have in my bag I subscribe to a magazine called.
Oh, go grab it. Go grab it.
No problem.
I'll show you this. You'll like this.
Okay, because I've heard of train spotting before, and I've seen
train spotting, but more rock and roll.
Okay.
Man said it's like train spotting, but more rock and roll.
I mean, I only know it's 747, and that's about it.
I believe
and a Concorde.
We're about to get educated, bro.
Yeah,
I think we are. 747. I think there's a 737.
Okay.
I have it. Hang on. That's a shame.
Have you misplaced your mag?
I have. I've left it.
Oh no. Go on, mate.
So
I said 747.
Jumbo jet, yeah.
An Airbus, is that the same thing?
It's
No, that's right. Okay. I mean, okay.
Right.
So an Airbus.
Matt was like, "Oh, you done fucked up now."
An Airbus is a company that make planes,
Okay.
and a 747 is a model of plane made by a different company called Boeing.
Okay.
All right.
So Boeing are an American company,
Yeah.
and then there's Airbus, and there's Embraer, who are a Brazilian company, make kind of small, sort of short haul jets,
Yeah.
and ATR, who make propeller planes, and de Havilland and Bombardier, who make sort of smaller planes. But I'm really into planes, so that's what my Instagram is. It's mostly, so I'm going away in a couple of weeks, and I'm flying with an airline I've never flown before, and on a plane I've never flown before. So I'll be uploading photos of the experience.
Okay.
And I use the hashtag AVGeek, which is, for people who like planes, and that's what I like doing online. I follow hundreds of accounts that all they do is people who stand at the end of runways taking photos of planes, and I just follow them and like look at all their pictures of planes.
That's quite cool, I like that.
So what is it that you like? What is it that gets you about a plane? What about the experience? Is it
Wingspan.
Oh,
or the size of the cockpit?
or as us planos call it, girth. That 747's got some girth on it, hasn't it? That would feel good going in. You know what? I don't know. I've been into it since I was like a kid, and like when I was younger, I never had a games console. I was big into PC games. I was big into. I was such a loser. I was into like all the tycoon games, like Roller Coaster Tycoon or Airline Tycoon, which is essentially a fucking spreadsheet. And like where you're just going, oh well, I'll spend that much on the fuel, and I'll do that, and like you're just typing in a spreadsheet. Just it's a colourful one. But I used to play Flight Simulator, so I had a Flight Simulator game where. She had like a joystick, and it was commercial airliners. It wasn't even fighter jets. I'm into like commercial aviation.
Yeah.
And and I used to do the flight because you could go to any airport in the world. You could fly all over the world. I used to do the flight from London to New York in real time.
What no way.
That's 8 hours, bro.
Yeah, of which 7.5 of them it's autopilot. But I'd sit there, and when I was like 12 or 13, I'd put a movie on and pretend it was the movie on in the plane, and I'd do little announcements, and like you could program it so there'd be a bit of turbulence on the way, and on the screen you'd like go click. The seatbelt signs are back on. So I've just always really been into planes, and like I've traveled a lot with my job, so it just means I get to see a lot of different planes.
That's like a double blessing, isn't it? Really, if you're like into planes and you get to travel around.
I love it. My a friend of mine actually, when I was just waiting to come in here, she texted me. My friends take a photo of the back of a seat whenever they take a flight, and they text it to me and they go, "Name that plane." And I'm like, "That's a Boeing 777-200. Where are you flying to?" Tulum. Well, that had gone from Gatwick, and I think you'll find the seating in economy is 10 across rather than 9 across, which BA do from Heathrow. And like, I'm just like a nerd about it.
You're just like the Rain Man of airplanes, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not even the nerdiest. Like, I would go and stand at Heathrow and take photos if my girlfriend would ever sleep with me again afterwards.
You don't ever sneak out at night, do you?
And she hates it because we go on holiday and I want to be at the airport 4 hours before so I can sit and watch planes. And she's just like, "You're such a nerd."
Would you ever go for the license then? Piloting license?
You know what? I don't have the eyesight. I've got pretty bad eyesight. I wear contact lenses, and you've got to have better eyesight than I have. I've had a flight lesson, and I've been in a flight simulator to have a lesson, and it was really good fun. I'd love to, but I don't think I could. That's my dream job, to be a pilot.
One day, mate.
What do you have good eyesight for up there? There's just birds and clouds in there.
You know what? That's a really good point, actually. And half the time it's night.
Yeah. And most of the time autopilot as well.
Exactly.
What's going on here?
I think they just don't want me.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, as soon as I've got a microphone in my hand these days, I'll be doing like,
welcome to Slash Air.
Airplane food, guys. Am I right?
9 hour set.
Yeah. Well, you're my favourite kind of audience. No parachute, so you can't escape. That's me on social media. I'm interested into planes. It's kind of harmless, but everyone's always like, "It's a bit sad, isn't it?"
Nah, right. Everyone's got their thing that they like to geek out.
Everyone's got a little thing. Yeah,
definitely.
Surely. Yeah. You must have one, right?
Yeah.
I bet you could tell me any CDJ, couldn't you?
I don't think it's legal though.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool. Is it legal anywhere in the world? Or?
I don't think so.
Okay. Cool.
Music though, bro.
Yeah.
Like you like Funk knows his stuff.
Oh yeah.
With
Pop into
music
my
production.
music.
Yeah. For me, Star Trek.
Are you a Trekkie?
He's a Trekkie.
I've been watching the original series, then the animated series, which people don't know exists, and now I'm working my way through the next generation.
At least the thing I'm into is real.
Sci-fi, it's feasible. It's feasible, bro. It's feasible. It's my crutch. So radio as well, like, 4 days a week now, did it?
5 days a week.
Sorry, 5 days a week.
Monday to Friday.
On Virgin Radio. So what's that like? So you kind of got the comedy side of you, you've got the side of you that does a lot of stuff TV as well, and now we've got radio. Like, how does that work out? What's your show like?
It's like, you know what? It's really musicy. Mm-hmm. So we're like, we're like an alternative rock station. It's sort of on the fringes of some like poppy stuff, but just play loads of music. And my stuff is, I love talking about music. But rather than just going, so that was the Foo Fighters and they're on tour from July to August.
On a 737.
They flew over actually with United Air in first class. Dave Grohl sat in 1K. It's sort of like, I just love talking about music and trying to be funny about music because, I talk about my life on stage, but to talk about music and just try and like make jokes about it. And like, I think my radio show is quite funny. Very lovely got nominated for an award, saying it was funny earlier this year, which was nice because with radio, my problem is, you don't have any feedback straight away, whereas I was really used to, like, you say something, people like it or they don't. Yep. Whereas with radio, you get numbers every 3 months to see if people are listening to you. So that's quite a slow feedback loop. So, I just make jokes. I'm just a bit daft and like chat away about, whatever it is. Like, I'll try and wind people up. I get people angry on our station. We play Oasis a lot. They're a big band for us. And sometimes I'll just call them like the Oasis. And you just get like, it's Oasis! And you're like, I know, I'm fucking with you. Because that's what I like doing. It's like just being a bit of a knob, really. Yeah. Just trying to amuse myself. And you don't talk for like that long on the radio. It's not like this where you can have a really long, in-depth conversation. Like, it's like, a minute and a half, like a really short, sharp bit you got to do. And it's got to be really focused. So it's a really different skill. It took me a while of doing it to get good at doing it. Like, I was all over the shop to begin with. So... but I love it. It's really good fun. But you hear a lot of the same music over and over again.
Yeah, those playlists are tight sometimes, aren't they?
Yeah, 302 songs is our playlist. Like, I've heard a lot of songs that when you first hear them, you go, oh yeah, this. And after about 6 months, you go, I was going to turn that down. I'm going to skip that for the day.
Yeah. Or you start to hear weird things in songs that you never noticed before.
And also, there's songs that I'm lucky in the music I play loads of stuff that I would listen to in bands that I go and see. Yeah. But occasionally you'll hear something that isn't particularly your bag, say, for example. You think it's okay.
Yeah.
And then you start to go, you start to then know songs that you're not that bothered about. So the other day, where was I the other day? And Tom Petty, Free Falling came on. And we play that, and like I don't mind that song, but I don't, I'm not all over that song.
Yeah.
But like it started, and it was so quiet, and I was like, oh yeah, here comes the bit where they do, and the person was going, how do you know so much about this one song? I was like, well, I've read about it, so I can talk about it. And I just started talking about a song that. Who cares about Tom Petty and Free Falling? Like, when you're sat having a pizza with your mates, and I'm going, well, Tom Petty recorded this in 1970, and I'm just like, why do you know this? So you've got loads of music knowledge that you love, but I've just got loads of music knowledge that is just useless in any other context.
It's like the general knowledge of music, really, that you got.
I'd do great on Mastermind if it was like Fleetwood Mac, 1972 to 1984.
Oh, I'd love to see you on Celebrity Mastermind Planes, though.
I'd be good on Planes, Yeah, maybe I would. I did the Celebrity Chase last year, and I was brilliant. But I was with a team of idiots. Jimmy Osmond knows fuck all. I'm just saying. And Kirsty Walk, who's from Newsnight, she just overstretched herself. She went for the 80 grand. She should have stayed with the 4.
You're not holding any grudges there from that.
No, not at all. We had 62 grand in our kitty, and I got 60 of that. So I mean, we lost it in the end, of course. But yeah, I'd love to do master. I think that'd be good. Just being like, the British Airways fleet between 2003 and 11. Like, I could do that.
Amazing.
274 planes, easy.
Fucking hell. You really, I
just love it. It's so sad, isn't it?
Not at all.
Not at all. It's just, I find it intriguing that you find that something that is really exciting.
Yeah. And also, like, I love the fact it's like, I do laugh at the fact not fighter jets.
Yeah.
Passenger planes. Buses in the sky.
So if you see a fighter jet, you're just like,
I'm just like, I know what they are, but I'm just like, that's not really for me.
So intriguing.
Like, you give me something where a load of people get on and sit in a tube of farts for 4 hours.
Yeah, that's right.
And you get given like a lukewarm bit of pasta. Oh, the dream.
I've been on that seat, by the way, on planes. I think it was a 7. You'll probably correct me. There's a seat which gives you more leg room than first class, more business class. What was I going to? I think I was on an EasyJet flight to Spain or something. And
like where you sit on the wing, like with the exit seat.
Not just the exit seat. There's like a seat, like a magic seat. No, it was when I was on the way to LA. Actually, you might know.
That won't be EasyJet then.
No, it was BA. Sorry, on the way to.
Where there's not a seat in front of you.
Yeah, there's no seat in front of me, and I have my legs stretched out.
There's one that's like it's a safety thing because there's a hatch in the floor.
Yeah,
and you get loads of leg room.
Sick. Like the people around you hate you. You got to have your best smug face on.
But the thing is, because I'm so into planes, I know all about those kind of seats. So when my friends book holidays, they get in touch and go, "What seat? I'm on this plane. I'm going on this flight. Where do I sit to get the best seat in the cabin?"
And you can select on a seating plan.
Yeah, and I go, what you need to do is be in like 32B because at the back of that cabin, it's like 3 seats across. But actually, when you go to the back at 32, it's only 2 seats across, or there's 1 seat by itself. So yeah, I'm like that.
Incredible.
So should we ask our listeners to message you
Get
on
in touch
Twitter?
with me for Matt Richardson 3. I will answer any of your plane inquiries. I'm really good with points as well. I've got like 500,000 air miles because I know all about it. Like, and I'm like, well, Adidas have got a thing on with Avios, so you just buy some Adidas things, send them back, you get 20,000 air miles. You're like, brilliant. So I know how to be upgrade. I know all the tricks and tips. It's brilliant. So yeah, Matt Richardson 3. Help me turn it into an online thing where I can make some money.
What's it? #AVGeek, is it?
#AVGeek.
#AVGeek. Thank you for coming on the show. Before we let you get out of it, though, because I know you're a busy guy, what can we look forward to seeing more of from you in 2019?
So still doing a bit of the tour, and then I'm going to go on a brand new tour from autumn next year. So I'm going to write a new show, which I haven't started yet. So it might be terrible. And then I've got a new TV show coming out called The Hangover Games, which is a game show where people go out on a night out and they get bladdered like they normally would.
Yeah.
And we've sent some cameras out to follow them on a night out, is what we tell them. We're making a TV show about nights out. And then I wake them up at 7 a.m. and tell them that if they want to get their money, that they want to win some money, which they thought they were doing on the night out. I'm like, actually, you need to do a game show with us now where we make them do things like eat, those petrified eggs and make them pick at whoever they kissed out of a lineup from the night before and things like that.
There's going to be a lot of vomiting on that show.
Yeah, I mean, I vomited a lot on that show. We filmed it in the summer and yeah, it was pretty gnarly. things like, oh, well, to win this money, what you got to do is lick this woman's face clean, and we've covered it with X and Y, and it's just like a really gross show, but really fun.
I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. A lot of throwing up. It was pretty special.
So did you join in a little bit of the bevies then while they're out there?
No, because that would have given the game away if there was like a presenter there.
Oh, so they don't.
So they think they've gone on a night out. We told them the show's called Britain's Best Night Out.
Okay,
and we're just making a show that's like like a Geordie Shore-esque. We're going to follow you on your night.
Yeah.
Whereas what we actually did was that show was a lie, and then I'd wake them up in the morning. We go, oh, we've set up a studio around the corner. In like the local football club. Do you want to come and like win a load of money by doing some horrific things?
That is insane.
Brilliant.
It's good fun. It's really nice.
How do I apply for this next season of this?
Well, if we get if we do another one, I'll let you know.
I'll have to be tricked into that. Yeah, but,
and it's like drinking blended kebabs and like it was all the stuff that you'd struggle to do sober. But when you're hungover and anything will make you sad and throw up. Yeah. All that kind of stuff, Are
you a good hungover person or?
No. But I'm also not very sympathetic to other people when they're hungover because I magically forget about hangovers when I don't have one. So I was quite a cruel presenter on this show because they're all going, I think I'm going to die. And I was going,
drink it.
Who cares? Drink it. Do it. It's good for the ratings. And then, but then there was one show we filmed where the crew all went out the night before and we were all hungover as well. So like normally they'd be like drinking something gross. They'd be like, come on, get it down your face. Whereas actually I was like, okay, you need to drink that. You need to drink that outside. Oh, yeah. And I was like, I had a bucket for that day.
Crazy. Where can we see that?
That's going to be on Channel 4 in spring next year.
Look forward to that, man.
Brilliant.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on the show, though, Matt. Appreciate you playing everything from a little bit of Smash Brothers to a game of do you stand up or sit down to shit. Thank you for. I don't know. Do we ask now in the future before you go? Do we bring the balls into this part or the wiping from the front, or do we just?
I think that might just be me.
Twitter poll.
Dear.
But yeah, no, thank you very much for coming on How to Kill an Hour, man. There's plenty of ways to kill time out there. Before we let you go, don't forget, smash that subscribe button. Smash 5 stars and give us a review. Let us know what you think of our conversation. Maybe whether you sit down or stand up to take a shit too. We're also running a competition on our website, howtokillanhour.com. So head there, check that out. I've been Marcus Bronzy.
I've been Funk Butcher.
And I'm Matt Richardson.
Cheers, mate.